The rain tasted like ash. Elias Thorne spat onto the greasy diner floor, the gesture feeling both defiant and utterly futile. He's been tasting ash since he left Blackwood Estate, a metallic tang clinging to his tongue, a permanent echo of the dissonance he's endured. The waitress, a woman whose face seemed permanently etched with weariness, refilled his coffee without a word. Outside, the neon sign of the diner flickered, casting a sickly green glow on the rain-slicked street. The newsboy's voice, distorted by the wind and the rhythmic squeak of his bicycle tires, drifted into the diner. Blackwood Estate investigation continues. Local officials, baffled by unexplained phenomena. Witnesses report unusual sound. Elias didn't need to hear the rest. He knew what those unusual sounds were. He felt them vibrating in his bones, a relentless, discordant harmony that threatened to unravel his sanity. Mr. Silas had insisted on this meeting. Elias had tried to refuse, to bury himself in the relative normalcy of a bustling city, but Silas's voice, smooth as aged whiskey, had been insistent, laced with a subtle pressure that he couldn't ignore. Now, he regretted it. Silas's request was simple enough: accompany him to his residence, a Victorian mansion overlooking the Ohio River. Just a matter of discussing recent events, Mr. Thorne, Silas had said, his eyes gleaming with a strange, unsettling light. The Packard car, a hulking black behemoth, swallowed him whole. The driver, a man whose face was a blank slate of unsettling calm, didn't speak. The rain hammered against the windshield, blurring the world into a watery abstraction. Silas sat in the passenger seat, observing him with a knowing gaze. "You seem unsettled, Mr. Thorne," Silas remarked, his voice a low murmur. "Unsettled is an understatement," Elias muttered, staring out at the swirling grey landscape. Silas chuckled. "Blackwood Estate does that to a man. It burrows beneath the skin, leaves a residue." He paused, then added, "Alistair was a brilliant man, you know. Misguided, perhaps, but brilliant." Elias felt a surge of anger. Brilliant. He opened a gateway to something alien, something that shouldn't exist. "He sought knowledge, Mr. Thorne," Silas corrected gently. "Knowledge that lies beyond our limited understanding. He believed the harmony held the key to unlocking the universe's greatest secrets." A house loomed out of the mist, a Gothic monstrosity of dark stone and towering spires. It felt ancient, malevolent, as though it pulsed with a life of its own. The caretaker, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, greeted them at the door. His eyes were cold, almost triumphant. "Mr. Thorne," the caretaker said, his voice smooth and polite. "Welcome to Silas's home." The study was a sanctuary of shadows and secrets. Books lined the walls, ancient tomes bound in leather and clasped with tarnished silver. Artifacts from forgotten civilizations lay scattered across a large mahogany desk. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and dust. "I understand you're familiar with the music box, Mr. Thorne," Silas said, gesturing toward a small ornate box resting on a velvet cushion. "Alistair was quite fond of it. Said it was the key to tuning in." Elias felt a tremor run through him. He remembered the music box, its haunting melody twisting and warping reality, the fragmented woman appearing within its distorted notes. "But that thing is dangerous," he stammered. "Dangerous, yes," Silas conceded, "but also powerful. Alistair believed it could be used to harmonize with the universe, to transcend our mortal limitations." The caretaker moved toward the music box, his fingers hovering over its delicate mechanism. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order, Mr. Thorne," he suggested, his voice laced with a chilling calm. Elias felt a surge of panic. He knew what would happen. The music would begin, the reality would bend, the fragmented woman would return. He had to stop it. "No!" he shouted, lunging forward, but he was too late. The caretaker warmed the music box, and a mournful melody filled the room. The walls seemed to shimmer, the shadows deepened, and the air grew thick with an unnatural energy. He felt a searing pain in his head, a pressure building behind his eyes. He saw flashes of impossible landscapes, of swirling colors and shifting geometries. He heard voices, not human voices, but something other. He looked at Silas. Silas was smiling, a knowing, almost triumphant smile. "You're beginning to understand, Mr. Thorne," Silas said, his voice a low murmur. "You're beginning to see." He tried to resist, to fight against the influence, but it was too strong. He felt himself changing, his thoughts becoming alien, his emotions blurring. He felt a connection to something vast, something ancient, something terrible. He looked down at his hands. They were no longer his hands. They were something else. "What have you done to me?" he whispered, his voice echoing with a voice not his own. Silas simply smiled. "I'm merely helping you fulfill your potential, Mr. Thorne. You are a vital component, a conduit to the harmony. Alistair knew this. He saw it within you. He felt a pull, a compulsion to go deeper, to descend into the heart of the harmony. He knew where he had to go beneath Blackwood Estate, to the circular chamber where Alistair had conducted his experiments. "Take me there," he said, his voice a hollow echo of his former self. The caretaker led him down a winding staircase, deeper and deeper into the earth. The air grew colder, the shadows more profound. They reached the circular chamber, a vast space dominated by a massive, pulsating orb of light. "This is it," the caretaker said, stepping aside. "The Nexus." Elias felt an overwhelming sense of familiarity, as if he had been here before, countless times. He felt a surge of power within him, a connection to the orb that resonated deep within his soul. He reached out and touched the orb. A wave of energy surged through him, obliterating his remaining vestiges of humanity. He was no longer Elias Thorne. He was something else. A vessel, a conduit, a key. He looked at Silas, a flicker of his former self momentarily surfacing. "What do you want?" he asked, the words laced with an alien power. Silas smiled. "I want to hear the music, Mr. Thorne," he said, gesturing toward the orb. "I want to hear the harmony." Elias closed his eyes and began to sing, a song of cosmic horror, a lament for a universe consumed by madness. The walls of the chamber began to crumble, the earth began to shake, and the song of the harmony filled the air. The door to Blackwood Estate opened wide, and tendrils of shadow reached out, enveloping the world. The song continues.